What's up out there, all my cloud chucking friends? We're back at you again today with the iPV Mini 2. This is the 70 watt single 18650 battery mod. It is essentially exactly the same form factor as the iPV Mini, only double the power, over double the power. The original was a 30 watter. The original also had a couple different options for mobile charging, and you could change the power modes from pulse width modulation to a DC-DC flat signal. They removed all that for the Mini 2, rightly so. Don't really need it. They're sticking with I'm pretty sure it's a pulse width modulation, but I'm not 100% on that. Please, someone correct me if I am wrong. So we're going to open this up. I'm going to show you the insides. One of the things I've heard some of the people arguing with online is the fact that when you put the battery in, which I'll show you in a second, and you hit the button and bring the firmware version up, it actually lists this as yihi SX130 version 7.0. Well, it's supposed to be an SX330 chip. It is. I will show you the actual chip in a second here, but it's just the way that they've set the firmware on the chip to read. It displays the version 7. So anyway, last review I did was on this Magnus sub-tank style. I got the Arctic 100 waters come in, and you know, I really like how the industry has gone. The technology is just progressing so fast. These tanks are just unreal compared to where they were even a couple months ago. So I wanted something that I could power this Magnus with, or my Arctic or whatever, on a single 18650 battery and not be maxed out all the time. I don't like running, like if I was looking at the eLeaf iSticks and those kind of things, and I don't want to be running it at 50 watts all the time. So I find this Magnus is happy right around 60 watts. So what I do, I picked up the iPV Mini 2S, or 2. And I like it. I love this thing a lot. It is actually steel. It's not aluminum. It's listed as aluminum, but when you put it beside my IPv3 with 2 batteries in it, now this is an aluminum mod. The IPV Mini is lighter. Is heavier. This one here is heavier with only a single battery than this one with 2. It's also, you can stick a magnet to the side of it, so it's steel. It's not aluminum. I did have a little bit of an issue when I purchased this thing, and I'll speak about that in another video where I'm going to compare these together and just talk about the power modulation, because it's a little bit weird the way that they've done this. But for these sub-tank style atomizers, this thing is just rocking. I love it. So let's go over. Got the fire button on the front, shows you your screen. They've changed the screen now, so it does stay on. It's hard to see behind that black window there, but it is on when you fire, and the screen will stay on, I think, for a minute. So I'll run you through how to control the menu. It's the same as the IPv3, essentially. You have 5 memory features. So while you're vaping, if you want to actively or change the active profile that you're vaping, start by pressing the down button. If you do that, it'll allow you to start adjusting the wattage down or up. If you begin by pressing the plus button, it's going to take you right into the memory features. So that's why most people get confused. Just start by pressing the down button, and you won't have any problems. So 5 clicks will turn it off. If you click both of these together, it will lock them. Again, to unlock them. And if you turn the device on while pressing the fire button, so what I'm going to do here is show you the firmware version. So you just unthread the battery ring here. It's still on, so I'm going to unthread it until it disconnects. Okay, now it's disconnected. Oops. Now I'm going to hold the fire button down while continuing to thread this in, and this will show me the firmware version. It's SX130 version 7.0. It's supposed to be a 330 chip, so now we'll get into that and I'll show you. So it's got a spring-loaded 510. Awesome. We're in 2015 now. Every single device coming out from this point forward, in my opinion, should have the spring-loaded 510. So you see that screw, it's got a negative, or a slotted flathead screw. Do not adjust that, okay? You'll just mess up the insides, and just don't mess with it. It'll adjust itself. So this one here is not really meant to be opened up. However, they did put two nice hex, these are 2mm hex screws. You can see it's just a fingerprint magnet too. I did clean this up just before I started filming, and you can see it's over just from me touching it. There's a jet black version of it, which I actually liked better. I had it. I ended up going back to the store and exchanging for another, and I kind of wish I didn't, to be honest. So, let's get into it. You got your micro USB charging port on the bottom. This one actually does support pass-through vaping. At least that's what I have found online. So I'm running a Samsung 25R in here. This is a perfect mate for this mod. 2500 milliamps, good 20 amp continuous discharge rating. It'll handle a pulse of 35, I believe, or 30. Anyway, it says it's over 30. Continuous is pretty much full crap. They'll handle it, but not continuous. So let's open it up. So show you this around. And then one thing I do like that they changed from the Mini to this is the mirrored screen. The Minis had mirrored finish. I hated that. It made it hard to see the screen. So I'm just going to open this up and we will bring the camera down and show you. Okay, so I just popped those two screws out, and that's really all you have to do. Now you grab it, make sure from the top section, just kind of wiggle it a little bit, and this whole door will just lift right up. Now this is steel. It's heavy. It's just solid. It feels way more solid in hand than even my IPv3 does. Form factor of this thing is awesome. I've had many e-leafs and iSticks, and the form factor, the hand feel of this guy's great. So you can see the wiring, they've bulked it up a bit from the Mini, I guess to handle that extra current. Nice and short, nice and tidy, nice and neat, just like you want to see, right? So I'll show you the chip. Show you the actual marking. So to take it apart, you just pop the positive up. There's a tube here. It kind of lifts. And then you want to start from the back to lift this board up. You lift it from all your buttons will fall out. To put it back in, it's a little bit more difficult. You got to kind of hold the buttons down. So you start by lifting up that side, and you come back over to this side, lift that one up a little bit, and the whole thing will come up. Yihi, see that on the bottom left there? SX330 version 2. See, there's some black epoxy there. I wonder if there's something underneath that, version 2C or something. See if I can get that off there. Yes, so it was version 2C. So nice to see. Like I said, I've had nothing but good success with Pioneer or Yihi. Yihi in particularly. Pioneer for you, I've had several of their box mods now, and I've got nothing bad to say about them. They have survived some of the nastiest stuff I've ever put any of my devices through. Like my IPv3 went swimming with me, hot tubbing, and I couldn't even deal with it at the time. I had to just leave it, and it was full of water. I shut it off and everything, but I couldn't even deal with it till the next day, and it was still fine. Ended up waterproofing the chip with Corrosion X. I'll probably do the same with this one in case it does go swimming. I'm confident that it'll survive. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. So you do have the spring-loaded that's for your positive. So you put the battery in positive up. Positive connects to here, and then it springs itself down. So it's a really nice design, I gotta say. And then you got the spring-loaded 510, which is, you can see once you thread it in, it will actually push that in as needed. So very easy to put back together. I'll go ahead and do that off camera. You just got to put the buttons in, kind of hold it this way. Start the exact opposite. Put the top in, put the bottom in, slide the bottom down, slide the top in, kind of wiggle it in, and you're done. Okay, there it is, all reassembled back together. It's really straightforward, guys. It's really easy to do. And I like this. Like, you could easily upgrade this. I could probably take this chip and put it in here if I wanted to. It's the same size. So that's the nice thing about these chips. They're all becoming the same size now. So I'm very confident I could probably just swap that chip right in there. Not that I could, because it's only one battery and this is a series mod. You couldn't do that, but I'm just saying. It'd be nice to have this in the future, I think, if I wanted to switch a more powerful chip in there, or an upgraded chip down the road. It wouldn't be very hard. So clicky buttons. Like that. I like the clicky click. So I'm just going to go ahead and screw it back together now. Throw an Addy on top. So it's really easy to put back together. Just kind of line everything up and drop it on there. Make sure there's little tabs in the back. You just want to make sure that those actually line up properly before you start torquing anything down. And there she is, all back together. No harm, no foul. So if you're not really familiar with opening stuff like this up, this one's not very complicated, although there's really no need to other than to inspect the wiring and stuff. I always make sure, personally, I just like to know that everything's okay. You know, you got a frayed wire and you fire it and it shorts out and you can fry your chip just from something simple like that you could easily fix if you knew there was a problem. So overall, I would recommend this device to anyone looking for a nice single 18650 mod. You buy this, you don't even need a charger. Plug in right at the bottom. It does function for pass-through. You know, for something like these sub-tank minis, and it's made for this, right? It's just a beautiful setup on here. I got cracked glass. I got some tape on there right now, but ooh, good way to pop a coil. But that's about it, guys. The box doesn't come with much. You do get a USB cable, and that's pretty much it. The manual in here is for the IPV Mini, so it's kind of bogus. There's no info that's relevant to the Mini 2 on here at all, really. Well, everything is relevant minus the chip and all the power output ratings and stuff. So 0.2 ohm, I think, to 3. But they removed all of this stuff here, the switch between the pulse width modulation and the DC-DC flat signal. And you could also use it between mobile power supply. So you put a 510 adapter on it, and then you could charge your phone from it, kind of thing. I don't know. Personally, I'm not going to charge my phone with my freaking mod. If anything, I would want my phone to charge my